Hi everyone, my name is Em and I'm a sophomore at Harvard College who is definitely not having an existential crisis and trying to procrastinate applying to summer internships by making this video. Anyways, today I want to talk about the art portfolio that got me into Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and some other colleges. I'm definitely not trying to brag, and I had a great privilege of being able to apply to all of these schools, and these videos are just really fun to watch. I have this iPad here with some notes of things that I want to talk about. I'm definitely not constantly checking it because I'm waiting for text back from anyone. So let's talk about my college admissions journey. It was very messy and very grueling, and I had to keep track of like 10,000 things, but in the end it turned out okay. I got into Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Brown, Johns Hopkins, Cornell, Duke, and I got a likely letter from Columbia and also a full ride from the University of Maryland. I did some researchy and sciencey extracurriculars, but science and art were like my two main things, and my admissions officer was like, oh, we have a lot of options for you to marry your interests here at Harvard for science and art. My relationship with art, I started taking lessons when I was 5, like every Asian child, because their parents wanted to send them off to a bunch of things and see what they were good at. I turned out to be okay at art. I have a few regional awards from Scholastic, but that was kind of the extent of my art awards. Over quarantine, I got sucked into this hole, as most adolescents do, of just YouTube, like college YouTube, art YouTube. I got a lot of time to experiment with my art, and as you can tell from my portfolio, my art is really narcissistic. I found this method that I liked of just looking at baby photos of me because I thought I was cute and turning them into these really intricate and challenging pieces. How I decided what to include in my portfolio. So I started out with the technically strong pieces, and you will see this as I explain my entire portfolio and probably lose my voice from doing so, as this is like the 100th time I've recorded this. I diversified my pieces a lot. If there was a really detailed one, I balanced it out with kind of a looser one, and overall just really embracing the value of diversity that our institutions have greatly embraced these past few years. Okay, let's dive into it.
Sorry, I took my fake fashion glasses off because I really could not see. Let's get into the descriptions of my artworks and the order that they were placed in. I really do think that art is 90% just telling your story, because most of the time I just made these things because I thought they looked cool, but dive deep into, I don't know, some Freudian psychological theories as to why you created this piece and write descriptions that resonate with your readers. So let's get into it. My roommate got me this orange cat sticker because she said it reminded her of me. I'm going to read the shortened descriptions for your sanity, and all of my portfolios are just some variation of these pieces, with a few miscellaneous ones that I am too embarrassed to share. Okay, this first piece is called Morning Reads. It was 24 inches by 18 inches, and it's graphite, made in 2020. This piece gives a glimpse into the world I know, a place where the moon is a sailboat, stars are storytellers, and imagination can weave any tale. I come from a family that's always spun marvelous tales of my ancestry. They teach me to keep inspiring those around me. The scene depicted is simple, employing only black and white values in a succinct composition, but within its intricacy lies storge, a parent's love, though in this photo I'm certain that newborn me could not comprehend a single word of what my dad was reading. It's the thought that counts, though. Oh my god, I actually put 200% of my effort and thought into this description. Like, storge? This is really embarrassing to read, but for the sake of transparency, we'll keep going. Okay, A Field of Wishes, 18 inches by 24 inches, pastel pencil, 2020. Summer storms are filled with secrets, crystalline dew, blossoms, and frogs. Seeing frogs use flowers as umbrellas, I became fascinated with shelter. Why do we run from rain? In what do we seek refuge? In my own life of struggle, this piece reconciles intimacy with a great big field embodying our daunting society. Here, rather than blocking the rain, little me makes a wish instead, that one day we can embrace hardship. Okay, very over-dramatized, but this was actually my favorite piece that I have made ever, and it still is to this day, because it's just, I feel like it's me and what I dream of in a piece, color-wise, composition-wise. I don't know, I feel like it's very me. Okay, the third piece is called Let's Explore Tonight Together. As a child, I was always getting into trouble. Truthfully, baby me felt invincible with her teddy bear sidekick. Like any challenge could be conquered with an exciting adventure. I employ a limited palette to instill clear meaning. The magenta indicates shadow, while white and yellow establish two distinct lights. The dimming day and the resulting golden glows, slowly uncovered by the emerging sunset. Behind every piece, I try to explain some of my artistic choices, whether that be color, light, composition, and I think that's a really good way to let the admissions officers know what your process is and what you're actually thinking. This piece is called Feathers Fly Freely. In many cultures, the eastern bluebird symbolizes freedom. There's a certain bliss you know only as a child, a carefreeness on nuanced judgments you are too young to understand. In the vivid Japanese maple leaves that also symbolize happiness and rampant bluebird feathers, there lies a message to be free, to never lose your wings amidst your adulthood, or feel ashamed of resting and being happy. Spring, I Love You. Crafted with Crayola crayon, this piece showcases a persisting childlike love. I actually based it on my mom's old wedding photos. Seeing her radiance reminded me of how universal love is. Back in my own childhood, love as I knew it was silly, but it's this exact feeling that many of us experienced our lifetimes. The lingering piano, delicate light, and cherry blossom petals dancing in the air. Yeah, this piece was inspired by your love in April. If you know, you know. Okay, my guardian leaf. This piece is a gift to my best friend, Kitty. She's been with me forever growing up, like a coral refuge in the sea. Here we are grounded within coral-like nets that represent our ever-emerging world's fluidity. And throughout it all, our friendship has remained invaluable to me. Even when life's nets become too tangled and I feel like I've hit the seafloor, Kitty is always my guardian reef. Oh, this is still true. She's one of my best friends still, and it's crazy reading this out loud from years ago. I wish I had the photos that these were based off of, actually. I do not have them right now. Oh my god, I just got a Canvas notification from my instructor that school is coming back. That is awful. I don't want to think about statistics right now. 1,000 paper cranes. There is a famous Japanese legend. When you fold 1,000 paper cranes, a wish of yours will come true. Wishes are the rawest human emotion. Hope. From love to wealth and happiness, what truly matters to us. This piece explores our Earth and our humanity. The wishy trees full of secrets will one day reconcile. The smoky sunset hints at a brighter tomorrow as glistening eyes look towards what is to come. Partners in crime. In this technical exercise, I strive to capture a certain playfulness within my gestural mark-making. The mountain goat depicted is a Pyrenean ibex, the first ever extinct species scientists have successfully brought back to life. I wanted the loose rendering, pop-out palette, and smug expressions of little me and the ibex to suggest a slowly brewing, rainbow-colored recipe for mischief. Just how far are we willing to go to explore the human mind's boundless curiosities? As you can see, my style kind of starts to shift here from a more super render, detailed thing to playing around with my strokes and being gestural, and I wanted to showcase that change in the ordering of my portfolio as well. I really like this piece. As someone who deeply feels weather, winter sometimes exhausts me. Thus, I strive to create a world where rainbow exists, even in the snow. Color and emotion are vessels for imagination to think beyond. What is the girl staring down? Why does she brim with ferocity? The hazy, formless snow leaves the vast environment open to interpretation. Amidst a vivid midwinter lies infinite unearthed stories. The both real Lepus and me. An avid fossils nerd, I'm fascinated by the histories of Earth. Reading through textbooks and papers, I noticed that the marvelous creatures of prehistory are often depicted in plain CGI. The rainbow hues, soft rendering, and playful humanistic composition within this piece strive to breathe a life into these amazing life forms. The Bothrialepis is definitely my favorite fossil, a headstrong, armored fish that spearheaded the evolution of modern sea life. Like the Bothrialepis, I strive to pioneer a new view of our geologic past through art and intimate scenes like these. So you can really start to see my science inspiration creep into these arts. My grandpa is our family handyman. There is absolutely nothing he cannot fix. It just takes an abnormally long amount of time sometimes. I love watching him work at his worn-down desk in his old man's shirt, as my mom likes to call it, because it reminds me that brilliancy lies not in lavishness, but true hard work. I strive to capture an intimate mood through the simple color scheme and straightforward lighting. The composition is tight-knit, and the midground messy to convey a sense of closeness between the viewer and my grandpa, who grew up in rural China with nothing but his hands to fix things. We need to start a counter of how many times I say the word intimate. Catching the stomach bug. In this piece, I experiment with color and mood. Through soft pastels, delicate lighting, and disappearing edges, feelings of love and nurture are elicited. I was inspired by how lucky I always feel to receive the love my family shows me when I'm sick. There's truly no feeling as universal as wanting our loved ones to be safe, healthy, and happy. Okay, this is my last piece. This piece is a tribute to the kitchen I grew up in. Every Sunday came familiar symphonies, the chiming of porcelain, ingredient bags, occasional yelling when I accidentally spill flour. To my family, food is love. Our I love yous lie within steamed spreads, the room is messy, and the sensitive hatching hint at the pots that have been used and reused. There's a certain life in this bustling, vibrant kitchen where we have made our home. Here's a couple of sketches that I left without description because I captioned them as just rendering studies and practice material.
Okay, general advice. Disclaimer, I am not an admissions officer. I have never worked in an admissions office, and my only qualifications are things from years ago that I should probably let go of so I didn't peak in high school. With that in mind, I would put yourself in the shoes of an admissions officer. Do you think that your application is complete without the portfolio? Because if so, these admissions officers are looking through thousands of applications with so many components every day. So make sure that you're submitting something that's really substantial to your application, and art is a big part of what you've done. I also think that in general, a good principle to have is, are you best in your state at something, or do you have national level awards? If not, then maybe it's better to focus on something that is really unique to you. On that note, if your art is really unique, so let's say you, I don't know, are best in the world at folding origami horses that can actually move and participate in derby races. I don't know why I thought of that. If it's really unique and something that they haven't seen before, whether that be sculptures or something really cool, then yeah, definitely submit it. Because in most cases, it's going to be the art department that's actually reviewing your work and sending back a brief report, and the admissions officer will be reading that. So they're never actually going to see the work, but it's going to be people who have actually done art for many, many years who are judging this work. Another thing to keep in mind is that different schools require different things for your portfolio. So for instance, I think that Yale asked me for 5 to 8 pieces, but Harvard and Princeton asked for about 20 pieces each. So you can probably guess from that Harvard and Princeton and these schools with other large requirements, they want to see a breadth of your skills and capabilities. So really try to experiment, whereas Yale might just want to see 5 of your best pieces ever. But on that note, don't feel pressured to experiment. As you can see from my portfolio, it's pretty cohesive, which is just cope terms for me saying I have one art style and can't do anything else. Tell a story with your art. People should be able to see your portfolio and be like, oh, this is you. And like all stories, there's going to be imperfections and places that are not maybe 100% perfect, and that's completely okay. Don't put the pressure on yourself to deliver this perfect thing, because we're all students, we're learning, and they just want to really be able to get to know a different side of you through what you create. And I really do think that that's the most beautiful thing about humans, is that we can create. Romanticize your college applications, make your admissions officers fall in love with you, your words, your art, and good luck. You got this. Thank you for listening to me rant and yap. Oh my god, I need a glass of water after this.